Hello, my name is Kelly Kelly. Welcome to the NICU Now audio support series. I am a NICU parent to Jackson, a micro-preemie born at 24 weeks, and Lauren, a late-term preemie born at 34 weeks. I am also the founder and executive director of Hand to Hold, a national nonprofit dedicated to providing education, resources, and peer-to-peer support to families that have experienced premature birth, the loss of a baby, or have a child with a special healthcare need. Hand to Hold's NICU Now audio support series was developed to help NICU parents navigate their NICU journey. Today's topic is life transformations after the NICU. It's a big world, baby, big enough to dream. You're not too small to do great things. I'll be with you, right beside you, hold you when you cry. When the rain is falling on you, I will keep you dry. When you sail on stormy seas, I will be your guide. I will be your guide. This stanza is from the beautiful lullaby, Big World Baby, written by today's guest, J.J. Heller. Since the beginning of time, mothers have sung to their newborns to express their love, comfort them when they are scared, and to soothe them to sleep. Music often plays a significant role during a NICU stay, as it helps parents connect to their babies, even when they are too fragile to be held. With the doctor's permission, my husband and I frequently played music for our son during his NICU stay, including lullabies, classical music, and one of my husband's favorites, It's a Beautiful Day by U2. Playing music and singing to our baby was an important part of not only our bonding process with our baby, but also helped us heal from his traumatic birth. Joining us today to talk about their mission to help NICU families through music is JJ and Dave Heller. JJ Heller is a singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee. She writes songs for just about every season of life. Over the course of her nearly 14-year career, she had 2 songs chart at number 13 on the Billboard charts, Your Hands from her 2008 album Painted Red, and What Love Really Means from the album When I'm With You. Her husband Dave co-writes, plays guitar, shoots and edits her videos, and manages her career. Together, they are raising 2 beautiful little girls who often appear on her Instagram and Facebook feeds. In 2014, JJ recorded I Dream of You, an album of lullabies and songs about motherhood. In 2016, JJ committed to donate 1 copy of the album for every album purchased. To date, JJ has donated almost 10,000 CDs and more than 17,000 digital copies of I Dream of You to charity, including to Hand to Hold for our NICU families. Welcome, JJ. Thank you so much, JJ and Dave, for joining us today to talk about your career in music and what you're doing to support NICU families. We just so appreciate you making the time to be here.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I wanted to just start with, what led you to want to donate your CDs and digital copies of your music to NICU families specifically?
My husband Dave and I have been making music for the last 14 years, I think, and we have 2 little girls, and once we started having babies, we started writing songs about parenthood and writing love songs for our kids. So we would record a song and put it on a CD that came out, and just kind of had a few different lullabies and love songs scattered on our various CDs over the years. And what happened was people would start coming up to us and saying, man, we love your music so much in our family, and we put it on and our kids fall right to sleep, which, we tried to take as a compliment, but it also made us aware that our music had a soothing quality. And so we decided that we would be intentional about that. And a few years ago, we made a lullaby album called I Dream of You with the intended purpose of helping people fall asleep. And what we were hoping was we would release it into the world, and it would be a tool for parents to help their kids settle down, whether they were in the car or getting ready for nap time or bedtime. But what happened was totally unexpected, because not only did it end up fulfilling its intended purpose, which was really fantastic, and a lot of families told us that it was really helpful in soothing their child to sleep, but we started to also hear hundreds of stories from people who were using it in a medical context, whether it was their child was going in for surgery and the album was the only thing that would calm them down. Or we also heard countless stories about parents who had babies in the NICU and how they would play the music over their babies, or they would listen to the songs themselves, and it would comfort them as parents. So we thought, if this album is having this effect on people, and if this is how God is using our music, then we want that to happen more. And so we decided that for every I Dream of You album that we sell, from now on, we will now donate one to a hospital and hope that it can help as many families as possible.
And I know that they have touched so many families, and I just thought, if it's okay with you, I'd like to share a few quotes from parents about the music that you have provided. New mom Sarah wrote and said, I have twin boys in the NICU right now due to being born at 24 weeks. One of them is doing well, and the other is starting to experience organ failure. Your CD helps me to feel calm and peaceful, so I listen to it a lot when pumping for them or trying to fall asleep. Plus, I really enjoy singing the songs to my boys. And wow, just how powerful is that? I'm a mom of a 24-weeker. I really understand and empathize with this mom and what she's going through, and that she's getting that much comfort and joy during a very traumatic and difficult time from your music. I know that must just make you feel so fulfilled that you are helping other families.
It's really amazing. We set out to make an album that would hopefully help parents in a normal context, and to end up hearing about these parents who are going through such a difficult season in their life, and to know that the songs are bringing comfort. It's kind of shocking every single time we end up hearing from them, because the NICU environment is almost alien to anybody who hasn't been there. You know, you've got beeping machines, and sometimes it's really sterile, and other times there are, medical staff who are rushing around. And to know that these songs that we created with our family in mind are able to provide peace in such a chaotic environment is really a very fulfilling part of our career.
I imagine it would be. And, I was so touched by one of the letters that you received from a bereaved family as well. Autumn wrote to you, thank you for sharing your album with NICU families. When we lost our daughter Anna Grace 2.5 years ago, we played the boat song at her funeral, and your song, Who You Are, comforted our souls. You, through your music, have been with us in many storms and many days of bright, beautiful sunshine. So in the most sorrowful, difficult part of a parent's journey, losing a daughter, and just the impact that music had, that they would want to play it at her funeral, and the songs that you wrote continue to give that mom comfort. And I just think that is so impactful. I also want to mention, though, that it's not just music for our babies. I mean, we're playing these lullabies, these beautiful lullabies to our babies in the NICU, but the parents are often finding comfort in your words as well. And I wanted to read from Abby. She said, thankfully, my son was not sick, but I had really bad postpartum depression. Our friend gave us your CD as a gift, and it became my voice in the storm. When I couldn't speak, I sang to my son and to myself. There were many nights and days I sang and prayed through The Sun Will Rise as a message of hope to my spirit. Thank you for using your gifts to help others. And I just think that that could be so transformative for our NICU families because we have a higher percentage of postpartum depression and anxiety disorders and PTSD. So finding comfort through music and helping us bond with our babies in a time and place where we have such a struggle, where we're struggling to bond. I wanted to specifically ask you, JJ, your album Sound of a Living Heart is about life's less than perfect times. And can you tell me a little bit about writing that CD and what you hope that the listeners will get from that album?
I have had kind of a lifelong struggle with fear, and in my early 20s it developed into anxiety and panic disorder, and I was having panic attacks all the time, and God has brought me so much healing since my early 20s, and I'm so thankful. It's been a long journey for me, and even though I'm not having panic attacks anymore, I feel like fear is always going to be a part of my life, and it's going to be something that I'm always going to have to wrestle with and to constantly come to the Lord and ask Him for strength and to be my peace and to give me courage. And so a lot of the album has to do with that, and closing with one of my favorite songs on the album, which is the title track, Sound of a Living Heart. And it just talks about how we have the choice to try to live a really safe life and to build a wall around our hearts so that we won't get hurt. But when we build that wall to keep people out, we keep love out as well. And we're also missing out on all the joy and all the beauty in each day that God wants us to experience. And so the song is just kind of my theme song to remind myself that we can live a life with a whole heart, and that God wants us to take risks and to live life as an adventure, knowing that there's really nothing to be afraid of because His love for us is our safety net.
Well, I think that is very impactful because earlier in our podcast series, we talked about the struggle of bonding with our baby because of anticipatory grief. We are so scared to love them because we know how close we are to losing them. And so we sometimes put up these walls around our heart, and we're just so fearful of being bonded to this baby and then losing them. So I think that really speaks to what you're saying in that song of, not being fearful and not depriving yourself of the joy of knowing your baby now, even if it's a very traumatic experience and they're very medically fragile and we don't know what the future holds, but not to deprive our hearts and our lives of the joy of getting to know them and love them and bond with them and celebrate every single day that we have with them. I myself have struggled with anxiety throughout my life and facing fears. And I tell you, one of the scariest things I ever did was starting this nonprofit, of not really knowing what I was going to do and how I was going to do it, and just knowing that my heart was there to give back to other families, and just being willing to take that first step and then the next step, and then just the transformation of my life, being willing to take that risk. So that resonates with me a great deal. I wanted to step back and ask you a little bit. I know that you post videos for moms every Monday. Tell us a little bit about that project and what you're trying to convey to moms and how you're trying to help them through those videos.
So about a year ago, I realized that I really have a heart for moms. And I think that that's because I am a mom myself. And I know that especially for stay-at-home moms, a lot of times we can feel overlooked or isolated. And so I just thought, okay, I have a little bit of a platform and I should totally encourage moms because I can. And so I started to release a video every Monday, just a short, 5 minutes or less video, just telling moms that they're doing a great job and to keep up the good work and that I'm cheering for them. And it was so fun to hear the feedback. And even now, as Dave and I travel the country playing concerts, we'll have women coming up to our table saying, "Thank you so much for the Dear Moms video, and I would look forward to it every Monday." So that was just something really kind of cool that came about, and I'm just so thankful that I can be in a position to speak encouragement into the lives of women who, I think our kids don't always say thank you, and so I wanted to be the person to say thank you to the moms on behalf of their children.
Oh, how beautiful. That is so sweet. And you're right. We don't get thanked enough, but we love them. And it sure does feel good when people recognize how hard motherhood really is. Certainly, we never expected to start out in the NICU or on bed rest and having complications. You just grow up thinking it's going to be the fairy tale, and it's not always that way. But there are blessings in these struggles if we can find them. I quickly wanted to ask you, I know you've also dipped your toe into some writing for children's books, and you have a new book out, The Golden Feather. So can you tell us a little bit about this new book?
Sure. Well, when Dave and I were working on songs for our Lullaby album, he had the idea to write a bedtime story to go along with the bedtime songs. And so we just thought about what our kids love. And so the book includes feathers and a unicorn and dreams and a mommy. And so it's just kind of a sweet little story about this girl telling her mom what she's going to dream about that night when she goes to bed. And she just goes through this whole scenario about a flying unicorn. But my favorite part of the book is at the very end where it says, "My mommy listens closely like mommies always do. She says, when I'm asleep tonight, my love, I'll dream of you." And so we just kind of wanted to capture not only the imagination of children, but also the love that parents have for their children, and how having children, it just kind of creates new dreams in the hearts of parents.
Oh, I just want to cry. That just puts tears in my eyes.
One of the fun things that we did along with the book was we decided that if we wanted to show the book to JJ's audiences during performances, rather than bringing the book up onto stage and trying to show people the pictures, we made a little video, sort of Reading Rainbow style, where instead of LeVar Burton reading the book, our daughter, who at the time was only about 4.5 years old, she narrated the book, and we show the different pictures. And so we get to kind of experience that moment in our daughter's life and hear her little tiny voice as she's talking. And it really just kind of brings about a little bit of that childlike wonder of experiencing the book. And so we posted that video on JJ's YouTube channel so people can find The Golden Feather on YouTube if they just type it into a search field.
We will certainly list that as one of the resources on the website so they can have a direct link and see that. In an earlier episode, we've been talking about the impact of reading to our babies in the NICU, and maybe that's a special book that the parents could pick up and read to their baby. I know before I left Jackson, every night I would pray over his incubator, and it began with me, just putting my finger on his hand and then eventually my hand on his back. And after that, I would finally get to hold him and rock him. But it is a long process, but always the same prayer every night as I tucked him in. And so I think the last words of that book are so poignant about dreaming of our baby, because that's what we do when we have to leave them there in the loving arms and capable hands of the NICU staff until we come back the next day. But what a beautiful way to tuck them in at night. So we'll link to that book and to the video as well. So I can't wait to share that with our listeners.
Wonderful. And I think the heart behind that book was really the heart behind most of the songs on the record. They're all love songs from the heart of a mother to her children, and just expressing that in one form or another, whether it's comfort in the midst of a really difficult time or speaking hope over the future of our children. And I think that's one of the amazing things about this lullaby project that we're donating to NICUs and NICU families is that not only does the music comfort the children as they're trying to fall asleep and eventually do, but it's also speaking words of encouragement and love over the parents and their siblings. And so there's kind of a variety of different ways that it ends up meeting the listener, whether it's a listener who's a child or a listener who's a parent.
I think that's so important. We haven't really talked about siblings today, but we do have programs to provide support for siblings because their lives are often turned upside down as well, just not understanding why mom and dad are gone so much more and why the baby has not come home, and life's a little bit hectic during those NICU days. So I'm sure having those beautiful songs to help them be comforted at night as well. So I think that's so important that we not forget about the siblings and the extra support that they need during their brother or sister's NICU stay.
Yeah, and I think something that we've found too, just in raising our own children, not in a NICU environment, but just throughout the process of being parents, is recognizing how important routine is for our kids, to have something familiar that ends up happening right before bedtime or during nap time, as we're wanting to anticipate whatever happens to come next. And it's one of those roles that we found that the music ends up playing as well, is that it's a way to be able to sort of help, whether it's a child in a NICU or whether it's a sibling, to help them anticipate whatever the transition is from what might be a chaotic moment into something that's hopefully more peaceful. And so parents might bring the CD with them on car rides, and try to use the album to soothe their kids as they're in their car seats, or use it at bedtime or use it at nap time. And we've just found that's really the hope with this music, is that it's able to promote peace and soothing, whether it's in a medical environment or just a chaotic everyday life environment.
Well, life tends to be chaotic, and even more so during a NICU stay. So what a blessing I know your music is and will continue to be. So thank you so much for your willingness to donate your time and your talents for our NICU families. And I just, before we go, wanted to congratulate you on your most recent album, Unto Us. It's absolutely beautiful. I know that you don't currently have a record deal, so that was done. You raised the money through a Kickstarter campaign, and just the thought of raising $80,000 for an album through a Kickstarter campaign just tells you how impactful your music is for your loyal fans and all of us who just find so much peace and joy in the words of your music. And so I just congratulate you. I know you worked with some amazing producers, some people who actually have worked with Amy Grant and Stephen Curtis Chapman. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. They're amazing. I mean, both the producers that we worked with were just phenomenal and worked really well together, and they were able to kind of get the best out of both of us. And something really interesting and unexpected about the Christmas album, it's actually our kids' favorite album now, I think. They were listening to I Dream of You every night before bed, but since Christmas, they listen to Unto Us, and even now that it's January, they still are listening to the Christmas music for bedtime. And I think we inadvertently created a bit of a Christmas lullaby album. But I think just in general, though, we wanted it to be peaceful and comforting, which if that's the definition of a lullaby, then I suppose it is a lullaby. We're thrilled with the way that it came out, and we're hoping that it will become the soundtrack to hundreds and thousands of Christmas memories for families all over.
Well, it undoubtedly will. I think it's beautifully written and sung and just really touched my heart. So just wanted to make sure I congratulated you on that tremendous success and wish you continued success, not only with that album, but all of your upcoming projects. So thank you so much, both of you. Our best wishes to those beautiful girls, and we look forward to seeing more videos and hearing more music and continuing to donate these CDs to our NICU families. And we'll definitely put links to your Facebook pages and Twitter and other accounts. But if you want to just remind us of what's the best way, if someone who is not familiar with your music, where would they go right now to listen to your lullabies?
The first place to go is jjheller.com. That's 2-letter J's, HELLER.com. And there are links from JJ's website to iTunes and Amazon, and you can see her Facebook feed and Instagram and her YouTube videos. So a lot of kids actually like watching JJ's YouTube videos as well. They're really charming and cute, and a lot of families find a lot of entertainment there. So there's plenty of resources at JJ's website. One of the other things that I wanted to mention too is that we are pretty busy keeping up with JJ's music career, and I don't spend a ton of time pursuing opportunities to be able to donate these albums. And it's wonderful when families who have experienced the record end up communicating to the NICU staff that they are familiar with that JJ has this resource that is available, and we are happy to try to provide as many CDs as we have allotted for donation to NICUs that end up approaching us. So we are more than happy to partner with organizations like Hand to Hold and other foundations who are providing gift packages to NICU families, but we'd also love to hear from NICU staff or other staff members at children's hospitals who think they can put the CD to good use.
That's a very good point. We want to get them out into the hands of as many families as we can. So again, thank you for your kindness and generosity and using your gifts and talents to bless so many families. And we just wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We're just thrilled to be a part of what you're doing. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Our quote for today is by Hans Christian Andersen: "Where words fail, music speaks." In order for NICU babies to thrive after discharge, they need smart, informed parents who understand their needs and are emotionally and physically capable of caring for a medically fragile child. Peer-to-peer support is an effective tool for helping parents navigate their NICU stay. Support from a caring and informed NICU graduate parent helps a new family feel more capable, confident, and ready to face the journey ahead. To request support, volunteer, or donate, please visit our website at handtohold.org.